Hello.
Today we have a special guest, Jana Komaritsa, from the Darkrad project. It's an industrial music project, and I would like you to explain about your project. What exactly, how you started, what inspired you, how you make your music,
Okay.
for how long, etc., etc.
Okay. So, well, I started Darkrad. It was around like 15 years ago, maybe already. So it has been quite a long time ago. So at first I started as a DJ in the scene. So, and then I almost immediately kind of switched to doing my own music. And I was always inspired by the industrial kind of realm of electronic music and noise, experimental, and like post-industrial, this sort of experimental stuff. So I kind of immediately started doing music, particularly these styles, and experimenting with sounds, and then almost immediately I started recording tracks, and then it just kind of naturally happened, and my project evolved over time. So I started integrating more like a performance kind of things in the project, integrating visuals, like doing my own videos. And so that also worked with a lot of body language, with my own body, with doing the performance. Also, I do live painting on stage.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of trying to like combine also my different facets of my artistry on stage in one, like kind of like multidisciplinary project, so to say. So it allows me also to experiment a lot and to not to focus only one direction, but kind of open myself to different evolvements. So that's pretty much it, like in brief, how I started with my project and kind of how it develops.
And what exactly inspired you?
Well, it's quite a difficult question. Like if we're with the creativity in general, there are so many sources of inspiration that can inspire me, also for my visual arts and for my music. So a lot of comes from my own kind of experiences in my life with my emotions, the feelings that I kind of like different experiences that I go through. So pretty much I would say that it is mostly from the realm of some kind of melancholical, depressive, dark areas of my psycho that fuels my art the most. So, and in general, the dark scene that has a lot of this kind of gives me a lot of inspiration. So maybe that's also one of the reasons why I'm in principle is really active in this particular scene.
And maybe is there some specific bands that inspired you? That it was listening like, yes, it's something I would like to make.
Oh well, that's quite that's difficult because there are way too many. Like I don't really focus on one like style of music as well. Like I like to listen like to classical music, for example, like different jazz. So there's all different kinds of music that can give me the inspiration to. Well, my music itself can be maybe more fit in the description of industrial or dark ambient, things like this. But the sources of inspiration, like the bands or the musicians, they can come from all kinds of areas of music, not even electronic sometimes. So.
And it's another question. As we are here, I see these pictures. I guess they're yours.
Yes, exactly.
Do you also have an inspiration in painting? Or how is that? Like, for example, you're at home and then like you got some idea like, yes, I should paint this, or how it works.
Yeah,
it's always different with different people.
Yeah, right. So this is my exhibition at Wave-Gotik-Treffen. It's completely brand new work. It's called Fragments of Melancholia. So this body work. So I created this, most of these paintings were created specifically for this exhibition. And I'm really inspired by this like landscapes and the emotion of the landscapes and its melancholy. So I often paint landscapes in sort of like a dark, melancholical, dreamy, like styles of landscapes, and integrate sometimes a human figure or a cat. Often, quite inspired by cats.
True, there's a cat.
Integrate the cats
Nice.
often in my paintings, and like I pretty much when I paint the landscapes, of course they are inspired by the places that I visit. So most of them. So when I go to a certain place, that can really trigger a lot of emotional response in me, and I'm trying to kind of depict it and also put some kind of sometimes a conceptual idea, as also reflecting my own inner. So for example, like this tree it kind of put that tree over there, like this one particularly, as a symbol, as a metaphor of like maybe my own soul,
unbroken.
yeah, unbroken, that going through some kind of hard times in my life and still trying to keep that strength going. So some kind of metaphorical imagery I put in my paintings as well.
Mm-hmm. And was sometimes the cases like you have an inspiration, you start to paint, and then and you stop for some time, and like, nah, it's not mine. It should be different.
Yeah, of course, that happens all the time. So it's like this creative process. It's always like evolving. So there are a lot of times when I'm not happy that I just drop the paint to the canvas, never gets finished. So I just leave it because I can never find that inspiration again. Or sometimes I can like sort of repaint it a little bit and then I can develop another idea. So I think this process is just has so many sides that I just also don't limit myself. So okay, so if it just doesn't go further, I just leave it. So yeah.
And for example, you started the painting, you stop, then you continue with other painting, you finish it, and then maybe after like a few paintings, it's, okay, now I know what should be there.
Sometimes I can come back to some unfinished canvases after maybe a year even or so to finish them. Maybe have some other ideas, and then I have that fuel again for that painting. So
as I see this tones are really dark, like it's always like this, or is this some more, let's say, happy paintings?
For me, this is quite happy. I would say this is my type of happiness. So no, I mean normally, like since I kind of remember myself from when I really started doing more of my own art, I was around teenage years when I was kind of like started to explore something beyond the regular traditional art education. It was always this sort of with a dark twist.
So you study
like
paint?
I started, well, for my higher education, I started architecture, but I also additionally went to school fine arts. So I have a classical education in fine arts principle. So, but my own art was always kind of like in that dark and sort of it's melancholical and depressive topics, because I think that's just kind of what reflects my soul the most, and that's what I'm showing.
And do you have some favorite painters, like modern one on the one that was before? With some, like, for example, sometimes, well, I can talk about my experience when I was living in Spain. Many times I was going to Museum of Prado, and I knew what I want to see. It was the Garden of the Light of the Bosch, Bosch. I have it at home.
Bosch is quite an inspiration.
And Goya, this old one.
Those are those dark kind of classical artists that have these themes, like Goya's black paintings, for example. Of course, the Bosch is also there's a traditional, like a sort of a basis kind of that you base your art. There are a lot of different artists. Like I also like the one artists who paint landscapes, like William Turner or Caspar David Friedrich, like Romanticism, the symbolist artists. So yeah, like I'm kind of getting that inspiration from all sorts of styles, also in arts. Contemporary art can also be an inspiration.
How long it takes to finish one painting? Or it always depends?
Depends. Normally I work pretty fast. Yeah, I would say, because my inspiration, say, doesn't last that long. So I have like really emotional kind of outbursts.
What is fast?
I'll maybe like normally I would say like one painting of this I would not spend more than 3 days on this or something, because then I really feel like it's kind of subsiding my energy for this. So I think that even within the 3 days, if I don't finish it, well, that's approximately, then I think this will probably not, I will stop at this point and I will have to wait a little bit when this comes. But it depends on the size also. So the bigger, these are like smaller sizes that I have here, or the bigger sizes might take quite a while. Yeah, but it really depends also on the mood and the time constraints, I guess.
Usually the sizes are approximately always the same, or is this also bigger or smaller?
Yeah, also bigger. I have bigger, but it's just because for transportation issues, like I couldn't really bring the big gas, so I just like focus on the smaller sizes for this exhibition. But I have also
I guess at home you have like
in my atelier I have bigger sizes as well.
Okay. I think that's it. If you want to add something, maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm very happy that you decided to have an interview with me, and thank you very much for your
because I'm following you was just we never had time to meet, because Wave-Gotik it's always when you cannot find time for all these meetings. Sometimes like, yes, I'm here. I remember last year, and you're there, and I'm here like, and yeah, it's horrible.
Yeah, well, I'm happy that it worked out to do the interview, and yeah, I'm happy to be here with my exhibition, and also in regards to my concert, I'm gonna play a concert. More
I will try. I promise I will try.
So yeah, and well,
at 6.
and
right?
on Sunday, I'm going to have also the lecture about about visual arts and the mental disorder in visual arts.
Oh,
It'll be quite interesting
So
topic.
tell me
Where
about
can I
this.
go? Well, yes, I'm an art therapist also, so I practice art therapy. I have an education in art therapy, so that's kind of also an interesting realm to explore how the art can have a therapeutic effect. Not necessarily like the mental disorder, but any kind of things that can be beneficial just for the well-being, so to say, for the stress reduction. And I'm gonna cover a bit of the history of like the kind of how mental disorder was depicted all throughout the time in visual arts. Maybe focus on a couple artists, and then I will also go to how the art therapy can help to kind of like release that inner tension or distress from what the mental disorder, or maybe just in general, kind of, yeah, some kind of stressful experiences can cause, and how you can, through the form of art, you can kind of like use it as an instrument to cope with those issues. So I'm gonna talk a little bit about this, and yeah, kind of a bit of a personal also reflection on this topic. So I think that will be quite interesting. Yeah.
When is it? When it
That's going to be on this Sunday at my lecture is at 1:30, and it's Baalsaal Leipzig. Gothic Identity Lectures.
Yes,
That's the part of this event.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time, and it was a pleasure to talk to you. Yeah,
Same.
thank you. Bye-bye.